Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ritesh Prabhu, Pawan Prabhuji, Vishwanath Prabhuji for leading and facilitating the chanting. Jai Jagannath, Hari Bol. Okay, so we'll start with Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Okay, we had a wonderful Jagannath Rath Yatra celebration yesterday. So for one last day today, we will continue with our Jagannath Ashtakam prayers for this week, and then we'll start a new prayer tomorrow. So let's continue with Sri Jagannath Ashtakam by Sripad Adi Shankaracharya. Kadachit kalindi tata vipina sangita karavo mudabhiri nari vadana kamala swada madupaha Rama Shambhu Brahma Marapati Ganesha Chitapado Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me भुजे सव्ये वेणुं शिरसि शिखिपच्छं कटितटे तुकूलं नेत्रान्ते सहचरकटाक्षं विदधते सदा श्रीमद्वृन्दावनवसति लीला परिचयो जगन्नाथः स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे महाम्भोधेस्तीरे कनकरुचिरे नीलशिखरे वसन् प्रासादान्तः सहजबलभद्रेण बलिना सुभद्रा मध्यस्थः सकलसुरसेवावसरदो जगन्नाथः स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे कृपापारावारः सजलजलद श्रेणिरुचिरो रमावाणी रामः स्फुरदमलपङ्केरुहमुखः सुरेन्द्रैराराध्यः श्रुतिगणशिखगीतचरितो जगन्नाथः स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे रथारूढो गच्छन् पथिमिलितभूदेवपटलै स्तुतिप्रादुर्भावं प्रतिपदमुपाकर्ण्य सदयः दयासिन्धुर्बन्धुः सकलजगतां सिन्धुसुतया जगन्नाथः स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे पराब्रह्मापीडः कुवलयदलोत्फुल्लनयनो निवासी नीलाद्रौ निहितचरणोऽनन्तशिरसि रसानन्दो राधा सरसवपुरालिङ्गनसुखो जगन्नाथः स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे न वैयाचे राज्यं न च कनकमाणिक्यविभवम् न याचेऽहं रम्यां सकलजनकाम्यां वरवधूं सदा काले काले प्रमथपतिना गीतचरितो जगन्नाथः स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे हर त्वं संसारं द्रुततरमसारं सुरपते हर त्वं पापानां विततिमपरां यादवपते अहो दीने नाथे निहितचरणो निश्चितमिदं जगन्नाथः स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे जगन्नाथाष्टकं पुण्यं यः पठेत् प्रयतः शुचिः सर्वपापविशुद्धात्मा विष्णुलोकं स गच्छति हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री जगन्नाथ अष्टकम की जय श्रीपाद आदि शंकराचार्य की जय जगत गुरु शीला प्रभुपाद की जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. Okay, you'll read the translation. Anybody would like to read today? Karthik Prabhu, would you like to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Sometimes in great happiness, Lord Jagannath makes a loud concert with his flute in the groves on the banks of Yamuna. He is like a bumblebee tasting the beautiful lotus-like faces of the cowherd damsels of Raja and great personalities such as Lakshmi, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and Ganesh worship his lotus feet. May that Jagannatha Swami be the object of my vision. In his left hand, Lord Jagannath holds a flute. On his head, he wears a peacock feathers, and on his hips, he wears a fine yellow silken cloth. From the corners of his eyes, he bestows sidelong glances upon his loving devotees, and he always reveals himself through his pastimes in his divine abode of Vrindavana. May the Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. On the shore of the great ocean, within a large palace atop the brilliant golden Nilakala hill, Lord Jagannath resides with his powerful brother Balabhadra and his sister Subhadra, who sits between them. May that Jagannath Swami, who bestows the opportunity for devotional service upon all godly souls, be the object of my vision. Lord Jagannatha is an ocean of mercy and as beautiful as a row of blackish rain clouds. He is the storehouse of bliss for Lakshmi and Saraswati, and his face resembles a spotless, a full blown lotus. The best of demigods and sages worship him, and the Upanishads sing his glories. May the Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. When Lord Jagannatha moves along the road on his Rathayatra car, at every step large assemblies of Brahmanas loudly chant prayers and sing songs for his pleasure. Hearing their hymns, Lord Jagannatha becomes very favorably disposed towards them. He is the ocean of mercy and the true friend of all the world. May the Jagannatha Swami, along with his consort Lakshmi, who was born from the ocean of nectar, be the object of my vision. Lord Jagannatha, whose eyes resemble full blown lotus petals, is the ornament on Lord Brahma's head. He resides on Nilakala hill with his lotus feet placed on the heads of Anantadeva. Overwhelmed by the mellows of love, he joyfully embraces Srimati Radharani's body, which is like a cool pond. May that Jagannatha Swami be the object of my vision. I do not pray for a kingdom, nor do I pray for gold, rubies, or wealth. I do not ask for a beautiful wife as desired by all men. I simply pray that Jagannatha Swami, whose glories Lord Shiva always sings, may be the constant object of my vision. O Lord of the demigods, please quickly remove this useless material existence I am undergoing. O Lord of the Yadus, please destroy this vast, shoreless ocean of sins. Alas, this is certain Lord Jagannatha bestows his lotus feet upon those who feel themselves fallen and have no shelter in this world by him. May that Jagannatha Swami be the object of my vision. The self restrained, virtual soul who recites these 8 verses glorifying Lord Jagannatha becomes cleansed of all sins and duly proceeds to Lord Vishnu's abode.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Kartik
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Well, yes, a wonderful celebration we had of third annual Rath Yatra yesterday, and like Lord Jagannath was bestowing his sidelong glances, quite literally, because people were crowded on the sides of the road, on the curb, and everybody was joyful and happy taking darshan of Lord Jagannath. And Lord Jagannath was very happy that all of us together in Cincinnati were able to bring him out and celebrate this wonderful festival so that everybody in the town could have the mercy of the Lord. And you and I were talking yesterday, Karthik Prabhu, about Lord Shiva. And so here, your your question is also answered by Sripad Adi Shankaracharya himself, who is none other than Lord Shiva's incarnation, who has
Yeah.
compiled this prayer. And he says that I simply pray that Jagannath Swami, whose glory is Lord Shiva, also sings, be the object of my vision. Okay,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, so we will continue with Prabhupada Leelamrit, and Prabhupada also yesterday we saw, day before yesterday, he had installed the Panchatattva deities, which is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, and Srivas Acharya, who are actually all the Shakti incarnation, the Tattva incarnation, and the Shakti incarnation of the Lord. So they are like the devotees who came, and then yesterday Prabhupada installed Lord Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra deities in Europe. So it was very, again, coincidence, but it's also aligning with what we are doing here in Cincinnati. So we see almost every day Prabhupada reciprocating. And just as Prabhupada installed Jagannath deities in Amsterdam, we celebrated festival in our heritage parade, our heritage festival here. So if we see, like, even America is actually filled with only immigrants, right? Everybody who's here has come from Europe, most probably, or from some other parts of the world. And so, in a way, this celebration of heritage festival celebrates our diverse heritage in America. And Prabhupada has gone back to Amsterdam, and in Europe, Prabhupada also traveling to where people in America, he set the foot and he sowed the seed of bhakti in America. But then yesterday he was traveling back to Mexico, to Europe, right, and London, UK, Scotland, and he was preaching, and he was saying the same mood that, yeah, he had to go out, he had to share this uh, nectar of bhakti with everybody, distribute books, share prasad, give prasadam, right? So this is the mood of Srila Prabhupada, and he's purifying everybody. And with the same mood, he will be so happy that we were doing the same thing. We had Lord Jagannath come out on the streets, everybody taking darshan, we were distributing prasadam, offered to the Lord, and we were also distributing books right next to Jagannath's tent, right? So overall, Prabhupada will be very, very pleased that what he is asking us to do, we are trying to do humbly and sincerely, following his instructions, following our Guru Parampara's instructions. So wonderful. Okay, so we'll continue. So Prabhupada is, like I said, yeah, from LA to Mexico to Europe, he has traveled everywhere. And yeah, I also forget now where Prabhupada is. He's just traveling so much. And actually, I think he is in London now. Yeah, yesterday he said, yeah, he's at the London airport. He was meeting Srimati Morarji and requesting her to become a board of member for the Juhu project. Yeah, there have been some ups and downs with Juhu land. So Prabhupada is corresponding with Giriraj Maharaj, who is trying his best to get the land to build the temple in Juhu. But there have been running some challenges with the owner of the land, Mr. N, Mr. Nair, who was earlier part of government, and he's playing some political tactics. All right, so we'll continue from here. Again, Giriraj Maharaj went to Mr. Nair, although anticipating Mr. N's reply. This time, however, Mr. N added yet another complication, reminding Giriraj that ISKCON had not yet obtained permission from the charity commissioner. ISKCON was a public charitable trust and so required permission from the charity commissioner before acquiring property. Mr. N put the burden back onto ISKCON. At the charity commissioner's office, Giriraj learned that he should have applied for permission 6 months prior to signing the agreement for the land. To Giriraj Maharaj and the other devotees in Bombay, the affair had become a huge Gordian knot. Okay. All right, so from London, Prabhupada is coming back to the States in New Vrindavan, which is our hometown or home closest temple town of New Vrindavan, West Virginia, August 30, 1972. Only 2 days remained until Janmashtami celebration, and more than 300 disciples had gathered to be with Srila Prabhupada. Janmashtami, Krishna's appearance day, is always followed immediately by Srila Prabhupada's appearance day. And this year, with so many devotees gathered in a holy place with Prabhupada, the occasion promised to be especially auspicious. Prabhupada had agreed to lecture every evening in an outdoor pavilion, constructed for the occasion atop one of the Vrindavan's many hills. The lecture series was titled Bhagavata Dharma Discourses, and through these meetings, Prabhupada set an example for his disciples that they hold similar festivals in other parts of the country. Through Bhagavata Dharma discourses and book distribution, the Krishna consciousness movement would increase its purifying influence throughout the whole world. Prabhupada lived through these days in a small wood frame house in New Vrindavan woods. He regularly received visitors and lectured in the evening. Each evening, before his lecture at the pavilion, the devotees would hold a kirtan and carry Prabhupada up the long, steep hill on a palanquin. And afterward, as they carried him back down, he would be surrounded by chanting disciples bearing lanterns and torches. Sureshwar. The path from the pavilion wound down and around on its way to the temple. I got there at dusk and beheld Srila Prabhupada floating jubilantly in his palanquin atop a sea of devotees. There were hundreds of devotees, with tumultuous kirtan and roaring, plus dust was being kicked up everywhere from all the people. It looked spectacular, like a panoramic scene from one of those epic movies, The Ten Commandments or Exodus, only much more, because it was transcendental. I just fell down in the dust as Prabhupada's palanquin came gliding past. It was very wild, but devotional. Batu Gopal. It was a small palanquin carried by 4 men. There were some ropes for Prabhupada to hold on to, and it wasn't a very comfortable ride for him. But it was an amazing scene. Devotees with torches, electric torches and fire torches and lanterns, and Srila Prabhupada coming down in his palanquin, down the trail. Hundreds of devotees were surrounding him. Kirtana was roaring. I kept trying to get up close to Srila Prabhupada and get a glance. Janava Devi Dasi. We were running down the steep hill in the dark amid the loud chanting of a river of devotees, and our feet seemed to never touch the ground. About halfway down, I caught up to the palanquin. But then I realized that being close to Srila Prabhupada meant far more than physical proximity, and that I needed to become much more serious about Krishna consciousness in order to feel less distant from him. On Janmashtami night, Srila Prabhupada went to the temple and listened to readings from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, about Lord Krishna's birth. Around 2 a.m., he noticed many devotees were nodding. You are getting tired? He said, smiling, and he ended the program. Even in the midst of such a large festival, Prabhupada was again plunged into the struggle over the Bombay land. A letter arrived from Giriraj explaining his failure to secure the 5 lakhs loan owed the government and the government's refusal to grant permission. He also mentioned his suspicion that Mr. N was influencing the charity commissioner's decision. Prabhupada had a copy of the purchase agreement with him, and he studied it carefully. Again, he concluded that his position was strong, since he was occupying the land according to the terms of the agreement. He had paid 2 lakhs as promised, but Mr. N had not turned over the deed. Now more money was being demanded, and Prabhupada had said Giriraj should pay this money and get the deed. As for the permission from the government charity commissioner, there was no mention of it in the agreement. Although Mr. N's tactics were apparently bewildering Giriraj, Prabhupada saw them as only empty bluffs. He telegrammed Giriraj, "Take back mortgage, pay off N." Before receiving any reply from Giriraj, Prabhupada sent another telegram. "Why do you say conveyance impossible? Everything clear in agreement of purchase conveyance to be executed immediately according to the terms of agreement of purchase." On Srila Prabhupada's appearance day morning, he went up the hill to the pavilion to speak. It was a beautiful late summer's day, and he sat on the stage on a red Vyasasan beside the deities of Radha Damodar and Lord Jagannath. In addition to hundreds of his disciples, hundreds of guests were also present, the entire audience numbering about 1,000. The festival was a newsworthy turnout of the Hare Krishna movement, and reporters from the New York Times and the other newspapers were on hand, along with television film crews. Prabhupada spoke, explaining how, although an observer might understand the devotees' worship of their spiritual master, no one should think that the spiritual master was presenting himself as God. Prabhupada compared the spiritual master to a tax collector. As the tax collector collects money only on behalf of the king, so The spiritual master receives honor, but on behalf of Lord Krishna. Everyone should serve and bow down to the Supreme Lord, and the spiritual master comes and collects obeisances and worship on behalf of God, who accepts any sincere worship of the spiritual master as an offering to himself. Prabhupada ended his lecture, and a great feast climaxed the day and a half of fasting. Prabhupada then returned to the backyard of this little house where he talked with some of the devotees. Hridayananda Goswami. Prabhupada was taking his massage, sitting on a straw mat outside his cabin. Suddenly, two little kittens appeared by his mat, and they were rolling around, tumbling. They were wrestling, tumbling, rolling around and round. Immediately, I thought, oh, they are contaminated. I have to get them away. The cats actually tumbled right onto Prabhupada's mat. They rolled into a flurry they rolled into a little furry ball right over to Prabhupada's feet. Prabhupada began tickling them under their chins. He was laughing, rubbing under their chins. Then he turned to me, sort of in a very jolly mood, and said, just see, even here there is love. Shrutakirti. I was in charge of the kitchen, so I was too busy to see Prabhupada at all. He was there for a week, and practically the whole time I didn't get to see him. I was so upset. I was doing all the service, and I had no opportunity to see Prabhupada, always cooking until midnight. I felt so bad. So the day after Prabhupada left, Kirtanananda Maharaj came up to me and said, so, you are going to be Prabhupada's servant. I said, oh no, this is wonderful. No, this is terrible. I was so worried. Then he said, you will be leaving tomorrow morning to go to Pittsburgh. I thought, wow, that was quick. I didn't know anything about it. The following morning, Kirtananda Maharaj brought me over to the farmhouse Prabhupada was staying at. He took me into Prabhupada's room and said, this is Shruta Kirti. He is going to be your servant. Prabhupada looked and I paid my obeisances. Kirtanananda Maharaj said, he cooks very well, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, that's very good. But he hasn't massaged. Maharaj said, I had never done it before in my life. And then Prabhupada said, that's all right. Anybody can massage. It is very easy. Satyanarayana. I was with a group of devotees. He would travel around the country in an old bus, preaching. On the bus, we had deities, a kitchen, and a shower. Prabhupada was outside of his cabin when we drove up in the bus. When he came on, we received him just as in a regular temple, and we gave him Charanamrita. He looked at everything and said there should be hundreds of buses like this. It wasn't such a big event for him, but he really liked it. Satsvarupa Das Goswami. I saw different leading devotees go down to that house to see Srila Prabhupada on important business. I had no important business that hadn't been answered by him in letters. But I began to feel anxious that I was not going to him while others were. Finally, one day my anxiety grew so great that I decided I would go and see His Divine Grace. When I arrived at the door of the house, Prabhupada's servant gladly let me in, and in a moment I was seated before Srila Prabhupada. He was seated to take his massage. I expressed to Srila Prabhupada that I had no very urgent questions to ask him in particular, but that I had become anxious to see him, and so I had come. Prabhupada replied that I should know better than to come to him out of such anxiety. He said he had already answered everything in his books. Actually, this was very inspiring. On the one hand, he was telling me that as an older devotee, I should be assured that by studying his books, everything was there. Not that out of anxiety, I should feel a lacking and on an impulsive pulse had to personally see my Guru. But now, since I was in his presence, Srila Prabhupada asked me, what are you doing? When Srila Prabhupada said that, I got the strong impression that he was regarding me in the proper place as a tiny fool. Here I had just been initiated sannyasa, and I was coming before Prabhupada with my assistant and asking for his attention. Now that I had asked for his attention, he gave me a surveillance glance, and by his question, he seemed to imply that I was doing nothing or very, very little to spread Krishna consciousness. That was how I interpreted his question. What are you doing? I replied that I was according to the instruction according to the instruction that I had received from him in a letter, going from temple to temple in my zone and implementing his desire that the students there study the Srimad Bhagavatam in the morning class. I had previously felt very confident that I was exactly following direct orders I had been given in a letter from him. But to my surprise, in that room in New Vrindavan, he began to tell me that visiting temples was not the most important thing. He said that he was pleased with the program of Vishnujana Maharaj, who was traveling on a bus. He said I should do like that. I immediately replied, Then your instruction that I should go to different temples is not very important. I should take a bus. And Srila Prabhupada became annoyed and said, it is not that because one thing is more important, the other thing is less important. Everything is important. Not that just because I say this is important to travel in a bus, now you say traveling to the temples is not important. Krishna's head is important and Krishna's foot is important. Everything about him is important. While Prabhupada participated fully, both formally and informally at New Vrindavan, he still carried a special burden of concern for Bombay. Although he had appointed GBC secretaries to oversee the Krishna consciousness movement in various parts of the world, he was the real GBC secretary of India. Wherever he traveled, therefore, he remained partial to those projects. He was setting the perfect example of a GBC secretary while, while conscientiously tending to practical affairs. He remained always transcendental, fully dependent on Krishna, and always preaching. After drafting a telegram to Giriraj or hearing of difficulties in Bombay, he would immediately return to his peaceful routine and active preaching. He would take his late morning massage, bathe, put on tilaka methodically and delicately, say his Gayatri mantra with silent composure, take his prasadam, rest for an hour, and in the evening, after a full day's activities, go into the temple room of whatever temple he happened to be in, sit on the Vyasasan, and chant Jai Radha Madhav and speak pure Krishna consciousness. September 8th, after New Vrindavan, Prabhupada went to Pittsburgh, where he attended a successful engagement at a large hall, the Syria Mosque. He also met with a Catholic bishop whom he asked, why do the Christians kill cows in slaughterhouses and thus break the commandment, Thou shalt not kill? Prabhupada had often asked this question of Christian priests and was always unsatisfied with the answer. This was no exception. In an informal gathering in his room, Prabhupada stressed outgoing preaching programs and he advised his newly initiated sannyasis present to follow the example of their god brother Vishnu Janaswamy to travel in a bus from town to town and hold festivals and distribute books and magazines. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll pause here for today. Yes. Oh, so again, today we see Prabhupada is in New Vrindavan. And yes, like he's saying here, go around, travel in a bus. We also had our bus, our Govindas, the first time that we inaugurated it yesterday on the very auspicious occasion of Jagannath Rath Yatra. So Hari Bol for that. Because Prabhupada is saying we have to travel in bus. so we also have a bus now. And Prabhupada now came to Pittsburgh. And we also had our very dear and loving devotee friend, His Grace Vanamali Gopal Prabhu and Mataji, who came from all the way from Pittsburgh. So coordinating and helping with the festival, with the deity puja, deity worship, and all the different services that we had to do yesterday. So he always comes every year. For the last 3 years, they both have been coming and blessing us with their association and helping in this festival. It requires the whole village and town. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, my glories, my name will be chanted in every town and village. Like that, every town, we need devotees from every town and village. We had wonderful Prabhupada disciples, our ex-GBC General Body Commissioner, Her Grace Malati Mataji, as well as the Rath itself was prepared by Jagat Purush Prabhu. This is the Lord for Jagannath, is prepared by Prabhupada's wonderful disciple, Jagat Purush Prabhu. He was, they are all Prabhupada disciples. And Vrindavan Priya Mataji also came from New Vrindavan. So very nice. Whatever we are reading, we're able to connect back to everything that happened in our festival yesterday. So, and Prabhupada, like yesterday, he was telling these things again. He's at this mosque now, right? He's talking to his cross talking to these Christians about why are they killing. And yesterday also we saw like these people coming and challenging Prabhupada in Europe, in Paris, in Amsterdam about, they're coming and saying, I am God, I am this, I am that. And then Prabhupada looks at them and says, you have anything more to say? You are not God, you are dog, right? So with that clarity and precision, he tells everybody who they are actually. And yes, when the jiva tries to become God, then he has to be told that he's actually a dog. And again, Prabhupada is saying this out of love and compassion for everybody, because um, like a lot of people also will say, if you hear Prabhupada's lectures, Prabhupada will be so serious, he'll be so grave, and he'll say many times in many of his lectures, he'll call, you know, people rascals, rascals, rascals. So, it's people sometimes people say, why is Prabhupada calling everybody rascals? Then Prabhupada actually in one of the lectures, I think it was in New Vrindavan only, or somewhere in America, but in one of the lectures, he was like calling rascal so many times, and somebody says, Prabhupada, why are you calling everybody rascal? Because and even the devotees, he was saying sometimes rascals. And says immediately he says, calling you rascal because I have love for you, I care for you, right? So that is out of love and care. It says, we have to get out of this. We have to understand the seriousness, understand the criticality of time. And all of us are going through these cycles of birth and death again and again, and we don't realize that we are suffering from this cancer. Just like somebody, like a village person, if we tell him he has cough, he'll understand because he has cough. But if we tell him he has cancer, he doesn't even understand because he doesn't know what is cancer, first of all. So we have to first of all teach them what is cancer, right? This birth, death, old age, disease that we are going through, life after life after life, going through different species of life, having attained this human form of life is a very, very rare achievement. And if we are just wasting this human form of life by just eating, sleeping, mating, defending, which even animals do, then we are missing the point. We are missing the purpose of life. And so that is the reason that Prabhupada says that, first we have to let them understand that they are suffering from cancer, because people don't even understand what is cancer. And and at least the educated people, now we know what is cancer. Now when we understand, oh, I'm suffering from cancer, and what is cancer, then we will be serious about taking the medicine, right? We cannot skip the medicine. If we have to take chemo, we have to take chemo. We have to take whatever medication the doctor has prescribed, we have to take it. And we cannot say, I will take it one day, I will not take it the other day, right? So this medicine has to be taken every day. And that is what the power of this medicine is, of the chanting of Mahamantra that our acharyas have given us. Just by chanting this Mahamantra, we are cleansing our hearts, we are cleansing our impurities, we are cleansing of this cancer, and we can make ourselves eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. So that is the reason why Prabhupada is very serious and grave in his discourses. But at the same time, when he's in his room, and like we saw here, he was also very happy with his disciples. He was cuddling those cats, and he is genuinely compassionate. Like yesterday, also we saw those kids and those urchins who had come on the stage, and devotees were trying to push them away. Prabhupada says, "No, no, let them chant. They're all devotees of the Lord." Right? So like that, he has genuine compassion for every jiva. What to speak of just humans, even animals. So that is a true acharya who sees equally the presence of the Lord, Paramatma, seated in everybody's heart. Vidya Sampanne, Brahmane Gavihastini, Shuni Chaiva Swapakecha, Pandita Samadarshina. So he's Samadarshina to everybody. Okay, wonderful. Anybody else would like to share anything that you liked from today's reading? Yes. Pawan Prabhu, Ritesh Prabhu, Karthik Prabhu, anything you want to share from your experience from Rath Yatra yesterday?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for all the reading and thank you for such a big dedication. Rath Yatra was very, 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 very. I have no words for that. It's it was out of the world, and it was great to see such a big crowd also, and the whole thing carrying and then pushing and going through the streets was awesome. It was, I will say, it was a lifetime experience that we can have, and having that kind of feeling that as if you are doing the Jagannath Yatra in Puri, as it brings you the whole good memories, connects you to the God, and also connects you like from a different perspective that where we are right now, are we still living in the same cycle? And when we are with this big devotional group on the ISKCON consciousness, we are all taken to the heavenly abode by the mercy of the Lord Jagannath, that no matter how many miseries in this world are, everybody is going through something, but when we are in such a big procession, we forget about all the little things of the world and we go into a different journey. And thank you for organizing. I wish I can participate more and more from, uh, but again, the materialistic world, taking care of the young ones and the others, brings you a little bit away from the real meaning of the life. We have, as you said, that what we all are doing is just going through the cycle, but when we connect to the God and we are doing the devotional service, it brings us to the next level, and that is Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Guji, for doing all that you do, and every devotee who was there, no matter what part they have, what they have, everybody was fully enthusiastic, and it was worth watching and being a part, being a, at least seeing the glimpse of it. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you
Hare
for
Krishna,
bringing
Prabhuji.
your parents also. Yeah. It was yes, like I said, it requires a village to organize. And all glories to all the wonderful volunteers, all the devotees of ISKCON Cincinnati congregation who all came together. Some devotees.
Prabhuji, I will have to say there was something that my mom cannot walk like more than few steps. But with Jagannath
hmm,
Yatra, I don't know where she got the power, and she
hmm.
walked like what she has not walked in like almost a month. And that was really awesome. And she was very, very thrilled and very, very happy, and kept saying that Jagannath ji gave me the power to walk. And the pace was pretty hard for her too, like the way she was pulling the thing. I said even she was touching the rope, but the pace with it, what it was going on, was for the youngsters, not for a 80-year-old one. But it was really awesome. Thank you, Prabhuji.
People, yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, Jagannath ji gives all the energy and all the mercy to his devotees. Yeah, just like I said, Jagannath Rath Yatra is so powerful. Yeah, just by having that one little glimpse of Lord Jagannath, just by touching the rope, pulling the rope, small endeavors like those, has so much of potency and power to purify us. So yeah, everybody who participated benefited from the event yesterday. Thank you, Prabhu. Pawan Prabhuji, आप कुछ anything you would like to share?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, everything is good. Festival was very successful yesterday. Enjoyed all the time.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Mataji doing well. I heard from Priya Radhika Mataji. She had some heat stroke.
Yeah, just like last year, she got a little
Mm,
bit heat exhaustion, but everything is
mm.
good.
Okay, that's why Lord Jagannath has bestowed our congregation with so many doctor families. So anything happens, immediately the doctors are there. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Good
Yeah,
to
it
hear
was
that.
hot yesterday.
Yes, yes. Yeah, but by Lord Jagannath's mercy, everything is all right. So good to hear that.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Karthik Prabhu, anything you'd like to share?
Sure, Prabhuji. Yesterday was my first time experience Prabhuji as part of Radha Yatra, and I felt very humbled. And just to add to what Ritesh Prabhuji mentioned, the me, my family members with kids, I thought they might get cranky, but with the power from Jagannath, they said they want to be there. Even at some point, I asked them, if I should just bring the car and have them continue, but they said no, Dad, I want to continue walking. So that was something mystical experience yesterday. I saw them and they were so excited being there, Prabhuji. So Hare Krishna, and like I said, I felt very humbled. The divine connection was there, and I really felt it, Prabhuji.
Evil, evil. Jai. Yes, we have so many wonderful kids in our congregation, so please keep bringing them to the center. And yeah, I'm sure they will have a lot of friends. And again, they are the next generation. Right? This is our responsibility as parents that we are trying to
Definitely,
establish their relationship with the Lord, right? So that is our duty as parents.
definitely, yeah.
And when we do that, we are fulfilling our role as parents, and and then we are passing on our Sanskriti, our Vedic tradition to the next generation, because they have to take it forward in the future, right? So
Definitely.
thank you for
Yeah.
yes.
Sure.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay, we'll end here with Vaishnava Pranam prayers. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavandi ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Jagannath Rath Yatra ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, then one pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.